In the 90s, things happened in India that changed the fortunes of the Mafia in Mumbai. When I was writing about the Mumbai Mafia back then, it had been a decade since Dawood had left its shores. 3 years earlier, Dawood had emerged as a key player in the serial blasts of Mumbai in March 1993. It was also at this time that Prime Minister Narasimha Rao woke up to release the country from the grip of the license culture and ushered in the liberalization of the Indian economy. When the Indian perestroika happened, it released a flood of economic opportunities, and the first to smell the potential profit was the Mafia, by then already entangled with Bollywood. Suddenly, there were so many real estate opportunities. There was talk of mill land sales. At the time, the many mills in Bombay were closing down fast, which meant that there was a whole lot of land in the real estate business to play around with. The only surviving Mafia don at the time in Mumbai, Arugali, spent most of his time behind bars. Ashwin Naik was absconding, and Dawood was still in remote control mode in Dubai. His brother Dawood Ibrahim was more active on the ground. And then there was the breakaway Abu Salem. Chota Rajan had broken off with Dawood and anointed himself a Hindu don. Both were baying for each other's blood, and in the intermediate period were busy bumping off each other's business associates in broad daylight. If it was the now defunct East-West Airlines chief Thakiuddin Wahid one day, then it was builder Om Prakash Kukreya another day. The Mumbai police were blushing at the horrific body count. One police commissioner even recommended using hockey sticks for the public to defend itself. It was a great time to be a crime reporter. Although I had missed out on the earlier generation that saw Dawood actually emerge as a don, I was there for the part of the action that resulted in the meltdown of the Mumbai Mafia. As I wrote their stories, taking swipes at them, describing their hidden dens and their networks, their interests, their women, their colorful lives, their hold over Bollywood and real estate deal meddling, I met with the dons themselves to hear their stories firsthand and set them down. So there was a meeting with Arugali, the don from Dagichal in South Mumbai, at the Harsal Central Jail in Aurangabad. I spoke to Chota Rajan, who was spitting fire at Dawood, his one-time friend and benefactor, who was holed away in Southeast Asia. Then, I spoke to Dawood's man Friday Chota Shakil and, of course, Abu Salem and Ashwin Naik as a crime reporter. However, my repertoire would not be complete until I had interviewed the one man who had left the shores of Mumbai but still held sway over his city from afar. By then, of course, everybody was writing about Dawood, but access to him had trickled away. Although Dawood had given interviews to journalists before 1993, he had simply vanished off the media radar after 1995. Dawood had just relocated to Dubai at this time and was virtually inaccessible on the phone. I decided to take the second best option. I began working on Shakil's Mumbai network, his Hawala operators, gang managers, and other contacts. Within a few months, I was one of the first journalists to crack a hotline to Chota Shakil. Eventually, I asked Chota Shakil to set up an interview with Dawood. Soon after, T-Series music baron Gulshan Kumar was killed by Abu Salem, who was by then operating on his own. But Chota Shakil did not want any part of the blame to fall on Dawood, as his boss was not responsible for Kumar's death, Salem was. So finally Dawood Ibrahim did agree to an interview. The terms for the interview were set. I would publish Dawood's interview without any distortion, and I would not contact the man who had led me to Dawood anymore, a big price to pay. This is how it was to work. My instructions were to wait patiently. Dawood would contact me whenever it suited him. For a long time after that, there was no beep on my pager from my source. Then Outlook magazine ran a story on how Dawood was public enemy number one. This hit him badly so much that he sent his men to attack the Outlook office. The office was badly vandalized, although nobody was hurt. Within a couple of days, my pager beeped and I was asked to call on a local number. I was in a rickshaw passing through Kalina, so I got off and called from a local restaurant. I was asked to wait for a couple of minutes, and soon after I received a call at the number I had just used. The caller spoke in a very polite manner. His phone manner was perfect, enough to put a well-bred Lucknowi to shame. I was amused, thinking to myself that the Don had done well for himself and hired some really cultured phone attendants. I switched to my own repertoire of Chasterdu and asked, "Janab, Aapka isn't Jarami, pray what's your good name?" I was utterly taken aback when he said, "Main Dawood Bal Raha Hoon." Apma Jesse Bot Karna Chaitha. This is Dawood speaking. I believe you wish to speak with me. We spoke for 15 minutes, during which he painstakingly tried to explain how he was not public enemy number one and wondered how his name had unnecessarily been dragged into the serial bomb blasts case. I said, okay, I want to record this. Can you give me an exhaustive interview? The interview was to be conducted over the phone and via fax. If he did not like a question on the phone, I was not to repeat it on the fax. I agreed. He gave me a date and time and the number of APCO where I was supposed to wait. On the appointed day, he called exactly at the designated time, 10:40 p.m. IST. The interview lasted for 50 minutes. I called my editor, Meenal Bagal at the Indian Express afterwards. She sounded pleased, as she usually did, with my big stories. She gave me a compliment too. You have reached the stature of Ritu Saran, a top-notch reporter in the Delhi bureau of the Indian Express. This was a scoop that was to go down in reporting history. Also the first time Dawood had given an interview after he had gone into exile. Here is the gist of the interview, which appeared on the front page of the Indian Express in September 1997. Film industry shouldn't be afraid of me. After a long silence of over 4 years, India's most wanted underworld don, Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar, spoke to S. Hussain Zaidi recently. Speaking on the telephone for over 45 minutes from an undisclosed location, Dawood skirted questions about Pakistan's EC and denied he had engineered the serial blasts in Mumbai. Excerpts from the interview. Sans comment. In which part of the globe are you now? I don't have any problem visiting any part of the world, except India, where false and politically motivated cases await me. But there are reports that you are holed up in Karachi and that your movements are watched by Pakistan's inter-services intelligence. How do I know who is watching me? They never tell you, do they? There are reports that you have invested heavily in real estate in Karachi, that you are at present involved in constructing a few shopping plazas there. What? This is absolute nonsense. What do you think of that country? Pakistan is an Islamic country and the next-door neighbor of India. But I don't have much knowledge about it. Have you retired from your gang activities? Who controls your gang now? Except for my short stint with the Underworld in Mumbai, I was never engaged in any gang activity. So where is the question of my being involved with them now? Any comments on your flourishing extortion rackets and your expanding drug empire? Nonsense. I have never extorted money from anybody. These are baseless charges, and your drug business. Zaidi Sahib, because I respect you, I pardon such an irreverent line of questioning. I was never into the drug business. In fact, I don't even associate myself with those who are in this business. I hate this stuff, and also hate those who deal in it. Is it not true that among your men, Aegis Patan is executing drug deals for you? Rubbish. Aegis Patan is not my man. He does not do any business for me. Then how come there are so many charges against you? As you know, I am not in India at the moment. Which civilized nation would ever allow an expatriate to engage in drugs business in their land? Despite the Indian law enforcement agency's perpetual hatred for me and my family, they have not been able to frame even a false drug case against me. The recent offensive has been launched against me with political motives. But the people behind this malicious propaganda cannot deceive the international anti-narcotic agencies. Do you still consider yourself to be a patriotic Indian? How do you think one feels about the country of his birth, where his family and mother still live? Not only was I born and raised in India, innumerable people in that country know that I am thereby. Then why did you engineer bomb blasts killing more than 300 people? The bomb blasts were a conspiracy to distance me from the people who loved me. As I have stated earlier, I had nothing to do with the Bombay blasts. Every day I see the blasts being mentioned in one newspaper or the other, but I have rarely seen newspapers condemning the people who orchestrated the demolition of the Babri Masjid and forced 140 million Indian Muslims to reassess their future in this country. Okay, but tell me, why are you threatening and killing the film industry people? This is absurd. I would like to tell the film world that there is no need to be afraid of me. Also, those who terrorize them in my name are not my people. Who are your friends in the film industry? I have shared an excellent relationship, based on mutual respect, with a number of film personalities, though in the present climate of suspicion I would not like to name them. Were you aware of Gulshan Kumar's killing? Only after Reuters filed the story from Mumbai. Is it true that Abu Salem carried out the killing without informing you? I don't know what you are talking about. The press and the Mumbai police should talk to the people who have publicly claimed to have full knowledge about the killers. These important people are ready to unravel the whole mystery. The police must now stop blaming me for every death in Mumbai. Thank God I was not around in 1947. Otherwise, I would have been blamed for the partition. Are you financing films? No? What do you think about Nadeem? Is he innocent or guilty? I don't know Nadeem. To the best of my memory, I have never met him. Somebody should ask the police to stop chasing shadows. What do you think of Mumbai police? Do you approve of encounter killings? Mumbai police is degenerating. Once the most respected police setups in the country, it is now framing false cases and getting innocent people killed in fake encounters. It is fast losing the respect of Mumbai ITES. Which political party you are close to? To tell you very frankly, before the Babri Masjid demolition, I used to have pretty liberal political views and had held to different national political parties in very high esteem. After the Babri Mosque demolition, I have developed this rigid political opinion that the Muslims of India must only associate with the Muslim League. What do you think of Ghali and Rajan? Who? Aru Ghali and Chota Rajan, your rivals, who are after your life. My views about them are similar to that of an average Mumbaite. For me, they are street hoodlums. As regards their challenge, elephants don't react to barking dogs. Are you supporting Ashwin Naik? No? Do you like being addressed as a Don? Do you miss a common man's life with your wife and children? I am a businessman, not a Don. As regards my family life, I am quite happy and don't miss anything. Have you ever thought of coming back to India? Several times. Once the government of India withdraws false cases against me, my friends and family members, I will catch the first flight to Mumbai. I will then go and offer my prayers of thanks at the Jama Masjid. As it turned out, this was Dawood's last published interview. After this, he might have spoken to journalists, but he never allowed them to publish the conversation as an interview. During the several conversations I had with him, I found him to be an intelligent, witty, and soft-spoken man. He displayed a cool, baseline temperament that did not spike at any point during the conversation. He showed no trace of arrogance or power as a Don, but kept dropping hints and clues of his well-informed network within the police department and his own intelligence network. Dawood did not like any kind of aspersion to be cast against himself, any negative image of himself to be painted. He hated the way in which the Outlook article portrayed him as traitor. He wanted to be the Don, for he was the boy from Dongri, the man who managed to outdo Haji Mastan, Kareem Lala, and Bashu Dada, and, of course, the giant Pathans. He became numero uno through his skill and a certain amount of luck. What follows is the tale of all these men and the empires they built. This is the real interview done in 1996 with the most wanted Don of India, Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar. If you want to know more about Mumbai Mafia, please subscribe our channel. Give it a like and don't forget to comment your opinion about Mumbai Mafia.